Okie dokie, I believe we are all the way live. Hello and welcome to my graveyard. I am your host of the evening, the Cemetery Man from Salem, Mass. Always taking names and kicking candy ass live and in living color here with you only on Grande's Graveyard. And yes, ladies and gents, we are here. We are live and in living color. Last week, I know I could not make the show. I'm sorry about that. But tonight we are here. Have no fear because it's the Neo Horror Special number 4. And yes, ladies and gents, it's sequels edition. I'm going to be talking about not one, not two, but 3 neo horror movies tonight. I'm so friggin' excited. Of course, each one from 98, 99, and then the year 2000. So we count down to Y2K, if you will, just like if it was the 90s into the 2000s, 20th century into the 21st century. Very excited to have you all in the house here tonight, of course, because we're discussing these 3 movies. And we will go in order, I guess. Halloween H2O. And I know, I'm sorry, I don't have the VHS of this one, so please don't string me up. But I do have the Canadian red VHS of The Rage Carrie 2. So that's going to be the second movie from 1999. And then lastly, and certainly not leastly, Scream 3 from the year 2000. So very excited to discuss these 3 movies here tonight. Should be a lot of fun, as always, on Grande's Graveyard. And, I enjoy doing these neo horror weeks like none other. I really think it's a fun show concept and definitely fun for people to stroll down memory lane. And the reason I went with the sequel idea with it, because generally with these, I used to try to pick one that not enough people have seen, a popular one, and then one I felt is a little bit overrated. Whereas with this particular edition, I was like, let's just talk about the neo horror sequels, right? These were already established franchises that saw Scream make a bunch of money and said, holy shit, why don't we take that Scream template, that Neo filter, if you will, and put it on an established known entity that we have already been a part of, right? Already known established franchises, and see if we can use that filter to make our movie make more money and be more profitable and give our franchise over again, respectively. That was the idea and the mentality for all 3 of these movies. So I figured that would be a fun show concept and something fun to kind of discuss and go down memory lane, because I do always love some neo horror. I'm rocking the idle hands. Got to show me your idle hands, everyone. Please don't be shy. We're all friends here on Grande's Graveyard. But of course, tonight I'm very excited, and I'll get to the chat and we'll get right into this son of a bitch only on the Graveyard. Ciao, Grande and Graveyardian friends. Miss C, howdy ho, Miss C. Hope all is well with you. We have Pseudonym 13. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Pseudonym 13. Welcome. John is here, Haddonfield mascot. Hey, Grande and chat. Hope everyone is doing well and feeling jolly. I'm jolly as son of a bitch. I want to get some eggnog for next week's show where we do the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. That should be a lot of fun. And I do have a unique day that I want to do that, so we'll let you guys know that at the end of the show, but that's going to be there. Slasher Fred is in the house. Hey, Grande. Hey, Fred. Hope all's well with you. Hey, everyone. Pretty tired, but here. James Abernathy all the way from the UK is here. James, welcome, my friend. Ciao, Grande. All 3 movies are very subpar. Carrie, a disaster. Maybe you have a different take on them. Hi, Graveyardians. Well, you know what? That's totally fine. I'm not high on one of these movies. I'm really high on one of these movies. And the other one, it's a big guilty pleasure. So, yeah, I guess you could say 2 of the 3 I'm pretty high on. Hey, James, people saying hi to one another. We got Anthony Chobo, 18W. Hey, how you doing, by the way? Just graduated. Hey, congratulations on graduating, man. I think that's calls for a cheers. So cheers, everybody, to a safe, happy, healthy weekend. Got my Poland Spring going on. And, so we'll go through these chronologically, if you will, 98, 99, 2000. We could talk a little about, what led up to these movies, what happened during the making of some of these movies, because these movies definitely had some interesting behind-the-scenes stories that I definitely wanted to get into with some of them as well. Horror Head Heather, 85, Triple H herself, throwing up the idle hands. Hell yeah, hands up, baby, hands up. Give me your neo horror, your baby neo horror. Come on, baby, let's do it. First, from 1998, the movie that was supposed to be the 20th anniversary of John Carpenter's Halloween. A movie that they actually had reached out to John Carpenter for a reunion film, right? Deborah Hill, John Carpenter were reached out to by Dimension Extreme, who unfortunately in this case was still Bob and Harvey, the Weinsteins. Of course, Mustafa Akkad and his son Malik, they were still involved in the Halloween franchise. You got to remember that Mustafa was still alive at this time. And this was coming off the critical and commercial failure of The Curse of Michael Myers in 1995, a movie that a lot of people at the time did not like. I think has some merit. I think it's definitely one of the more unique Halloween films, a movie that has a lot of grunge element to it, and I kind of like certain aspects about Halloween 6 that others may not. But that movie, there's no denying, was a commercial failure and critical failure. So their ideology was, hey, Jamie Lee is at a bad point in her career, right? Things aren't looking so good. Horror movies are hot again. That Scream movie came around the pike and it made a shit ton of money. And hey, it referenced the original Halloween so many times that why don't we try to back off and kind of pick off what exactly Scream did and take that and put it on this formula to make our movie in 1998 with this little movie a little movie that made a little bit of money for sure. I'm talking about this movie from 1998, Steve Miner's Halloween H2O, 20 years later. Brief plot synopsis. Laurie Strode, now the dean of a Northern California private school with an assumed name, must battle the shape one last time as the life of her own son hangs in the balance. Yes, Halloween H2O. I've heard people say this is their favorite of the sequels. I've heard people say this is the perfect ending to, if you just want to count Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and this movie. It's the perfect ending to a trilogy, right? I've heard people say that. I hear those people, and that's totally fine. They feel that way. I've always felt this movie was a disappointment. I truly feel that way ever since I was a little kid. I never was a big fan of Halloween H2O. Now, there have been movies that have come out that have certainly surpassed its shittiness, those lighter three easily. I would take this over them. I mean, 10 times a day, every day a week, twice on Sunday. I mean, all the cliches. 25/8, right? I would watch this over the new Halloween movies, so there's no doubt about that. However, there's no denying that this is exactly what this movie did. Was it borrowed from Scream, right? Scream's popular. Let's get that guy Kevin Williamson. Yeah, we'll bring him in as a creative consultant. We'll credit him as a co-executive producer, and we'll have him do several different rewrites and changings of the script that we have because he's the guy that's in the know. He's the guy that we want to get on board because he's the guy that brings the money in. And that was a big mentality of what they wanted to do here, was take from Scream and let's make Scream money. That was the big ideology. And of course, neo-horror, right? We got all the young, fresh faces on the cover, right? We had Josh Hartnett, who I always have been a big fan of, and it starred in The Faculty, another neo-horror movie in 1998 for the same studio. Of course, you have here, the ladies do love Cool J. Let's get a popular rap star in there. He'll draw some of the youngins in. It just seemed like this was a movie and time where they were like, holy shit, we see dollar signs. Let's do it for that. I always felt like that was the mentality with Halloween H2O, was let's make a fuck ton of money. And while I respect that, and I understand the reasoning behind what they did, what they forgot was to make a fucking good movie. That was unfortunately what to me got lost in the shuffle here, because what you have is Jamie Lee Curtis's character has moved away. She's changed her name to Carrie Tate. She's a teacher now. She has a son played by Josh Hartnett named John, and she's this teacher under another assumed name, and she's been running away from the ghosts of her past for years and years, and the ghost of her past known as Michael Myers, the Shape. She's been running from this for 20 years, right? She's horrified of what happened on that Halloween night, right? Not just the original film, but Halloween 2 is kept in the chronology here. So the night at the hospital, all of that stuff, totally in canon here, and all that stuff did happen. And she's playing this person that had moved on, but is struggling with, bad dreams and nightmares and things like that. And abusive addiction with alcoholism, right? This is a woman that's drinking away her problems. She doesn't want to face, her everyday problems as someone else might want to. She's living with a lot of grief, and she's living with a lot of trauma. And that's the ideology of her character's movie. And I liked that stuff. I thought that stuff was very well handled and well written here, and Jamie Lee Curtis did a very good job in this role, reprising the role of Laurie Strode. I totally thought that this was the same character that had went through the grinder in the first two movies, and then now it's this person 20 years later that's still having a troubled time moving on from it. That's a horrific thing. And I think that all that stuff is the best part of this movie. The rest of it, though, I mean, for the birds, you have a really weak opening where, we play Mr. Sandman because remember Halloween 2, and Nurse Chambers is in the beginning. Oh, there's Nurse Chambers, and they're cutting up pumpkins around the neighborhood, and Michael's broken into her house, and then she goes next door to her neighbor. Who the fuck is the next door neighbor? It's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. What the fuck? Joseph Gordon-Levitt playing hockey. I'll check out your house. Oh, they fucked up your kitchen. Ha ha ha. And then everybody gets fucking killed off screen. It is just one of the most uninspired openings. And then we get some bad fucking, these police investigate. He stole some things. I wonder what he took. He's trying to find Laurie's location. And then, of course, we get this bad opening music score from John Ottman, which I always thought this was a really poor composing job from John Ottman. I don't like the music whatsoever in this movie. It doesn't fit. It's like Halloween, but on a flute. It's just awful. You get a bad voiceover of a voice actor, I think his name was Tom Kane, trying to pretend that he's Donald Pleasance. I met him 16. I'm like, buddy, what the fuck are you doing? Like, it's just bad. It's a bad Donald Pleasance impression as we get the opening credits. And then we open up and we're in this school in Northern California. And to me, you get the biggest single problem with this movie. There's no atmosphere in a Halloween film. Whether you like Halloween 6 or not, it has a distinct grunge tone. It feels like October, right? The leaves, the Halloween party and all that stuff. Like, it all feels like Halloween. Halloween 5, same thing. We've got all the kids. The barn sequence is better than any sequence of horror in this movie. The laundry chute sequence is better than any sequence of horror in this movie. Just feel, vibe, tone, and most important, horror in your horror movie. It's been done better in almost any other Halloween movie that preceded this. And this one, it just really doesn't have that vibe and atmosphere. It just feels like it could be any time of year. It doesn't really feel Halloweenish. Nobody dresses up in it. Nobody's fucking trick-or-treating in it. It feels very uninspired to me. And that, to me, is the biggest single problem with this movie as a whole. And it doesn't really stop there. That's just, the biggest one that I have. Now, like I said, I like the stuff with the trauma, right? Jamie Lee Curtis and Josh Hartnett working back and forth with one another. And she's being very overbearing and overprotective. And you're not going, John. You're not going on that field trip to Yosemite. And he's like, Mom, listen, I've given you time. I've given you so much time. And she says, I'm asking you to give me one more day. And he kind of just cuts her off and says, I've given you 18 years, Mom. Michael Myers is dead. And he kind of tells her off. That stuff's really good. I really, you feel that heartfelt emotion between a parent and child, and he's really sick of being afraid of his own shadow, and he feels that she needs to just finally accept her life and move on with it, and she can't do it, right? The grief has got her. The fear has got her, grounded, so she can no longer move past it. And that's, I think, again, all that stuff really well done. But the friends in this movie, Michelle Williams is randomly in this fucking movie. Is the love interest. She has no character. She literally less than one dimension, like a 0-dimensional character. She just girlfriend in the movie. That's it. The one horny guy friend, it's the kid from Jumanji that gets sucked into the board game. I always remember that. I was like, hey, it's fucking the kid from Jumanji, but nothing. Jodie Little-Keefe. Nothing. Like, they're just nothing characters. And to me, if you really wanted to pay so much attention to rip off Scream, that the fun of Scream is everybody's so three-dimensional, like Jamie Kennedy running the video store. What's the one with E.T.'s mom? Oh, that's The Howling in the horror section. And Matthew Lillard and it's a Scream, baby. All of them are so three-dimensional characters to me. Whereas the characters in this, they're flatter than A-cup Yits. I mean, where's your fucking dimension? Where's your shape? Where's your feel? You got nothing. No cojones, no personality, no flamboyancy. It's just completely flat. And it's just maddening because you could clearly tell the template they were going for, but they missed the most important, vital fucking things. So that's what to me, irks me. Now, from a technical standpoint, there's a lot of problems with this movie too. And hey, number one, this fucking mask. How in the fuck did they fuck up this mask so much? Number one, the eye holes on most of them are way too fucking big. You got the hair fucking popping up in a lot of them. It's like, buddy, what were you doing? Were we looking for a Birdman mask? What were we thinking here? They brought in not one, not two, not three, but 4 different special makeup effects artists to try to fucking get the mask right. John Carl Buechler, I believe Rick Baker was brought in. There's several different people they brought in to try to fix this mask, and none of them could fucking figure out. Apparently, it was rocket science. Now, I know Haddonfield mascot John literally makes masks. I mean, I know he agrees with me on the level of incompetence that was going on here. There's no way it could have been that hard, right? It's just crazy to me that it fucked that up so badly, but they did. And even above all else, above all the bad masks that are used in this movie, and the CGI mask being the worst, to me, the Michael Myers in this is fucking bad too. Chris Duran. Yes, Duran. Fucking horrible. What the hell? This guy moves like fucking shit. He fucking speed walks like fucking shit. Just absolutely, in my opinion, the all-time worst Michael Myers. Like, people shit on Don Shanks. People shit on Brad Lorre. Go shit on him. I'm going to shit on Chris Duran. Like, give me my space to shit on Chris Duran because this motherfucker sucked as Michael Myers. I get what Miner wanted to do. And I love Steve Miner. I like Friday 13, 2, and 3. I love House, one of my favorite horror haunted house movies. I like Warlock with Julian Sands. Lake Placid a year later. Guy's a good filmmaker for the most part, right? We can forget about Day of the Dead 2008 because we all should forget about 2008's Day of the Dead. I get what he was trying to do. Let's work it backwards, right? They wanted Carpenter. Carpenter asked for $10 million because he was still pissed at Mustafa Akkad for not giving him the proper payday for creating one of the all-time great horror movies. And he said, hey, yeah, you want me to direct this? That'll be 8 fucking figures. And the Weinsteins and the Ackads, they scoffed at John Carpenter, and John Carpenter took his ball and made vampires. And that's what ended up happening there. But listen, Steve Miner, not a bad rebound call. I myself, if you said, hey, Grande, hey, who would you get if we can't, we're not paying Carpenter the 8 figures, who are we getting? Steve Miner would have been towards the top of the list for me. So I don't disagree with the call. I disagree with his direction, though, because I see what he's trying to do. Let's work it backwards. John Carpenter's film was silent, was stalking, was methodical, right? Whereas the second movie, Carpenter had to come in and do the additional second unit reshoots to make the thing more fucking violent because Rick Rosenthal tried the same thing and Carpenter said, no, we have to ramp it up. You can't just try to cut, copy, paste, and deliver because it ain't going to work the same. And John Carpenter, you might as well listen to that motherfucker because he's pretty fucking smart, whether you like him or not. And that's what Miner's trying to do here. It's trying to be John Carpenter. Oh, here's Michael behind the door. Oh, here's LL Cool J looking through a fucking car. Michael's behind him, but he's going to leave him perfectly fine. What the fuck are you doing? You're not John Carpenter. It doesn't make sense for this type of story that you're telling. Make it fucking, this is the third one. This is your end of your trilogy, right? Your big bang. Go out with a big bang. Have a little violence. Have a little gore. Have a little fucking fun. And it's nowhere to be found. I think there's 3 death scenes in this whole movie, and most of them are off screen. You have the kid from Jumanji who dies off screen, right? He sees Michael in the CGI mask, dies off screen. You have fucking Nancy, she dies on screen. That's one of the on-screen ones. You've got the girlfriend of fucking kid from Jumanji. She dies on screen because she runs into a fucking dumbwaiter. He cuts the rope. She gets her legs snapped on, and then he walks up the steps and kills her. That one's on screen. Great. A couple of on screen. LL Cool J doesn't die in the movie. Has nothing to do in the movie, really, other than bitch to his girlfriend about his writing. That's all his character fucking does. It's like, why even have him in the fucking movie? He had nothing to do. Just stand there on the fucking phone. Oh, hey, my writing's coming along. My name's Ronnie. Heads up, Ronnie. I'm the shittiest fucking security guard in the history of the fucking planet. Ronnie, get your fucking thumb out of your fucking ass. Turn around and get killed or something. But just the nonsense of LL Cool J. I'm LL Cool J. And the next one, let's get Busta Rhymes, because why the fuck not? You know what? If they had made a third Halloween movie in Dimension, maybe they would have got Sticky Fingers to fucking stick his sticky fucking thumbs up his sticky fucking ass. Maybe that's what would have happened, but they didn't do that either. It's just annoying to me because horror at the time was booming again. And at the time, a lot of people loved this movie and they went to the cinemas and they were thrilled. Oh man, I had a great time at the movies. You were looking for screen money, but you didn't get. You didn't get the screen money with this, man. This was a movie that was made on a modest budget. It grossed about $55 million. That ain't anywhere near Scream money, buddy. Scream money was like upwards of 150 plus, and adjusted to inflation, you're talking way over $200 million, and this did not even come fucking close. Not even close. I mean, I just don't. I think this is a failure in every sense of the imagination, except for the third act. I think the third act is fairly good. We get to the third act where Michael has killed a couple of Josh Hartnett's friends and he's chasing them now. Jamie shows up with a gun and her boring boyfriend, who had the personality of a pickle, played by Adam Arkin, which was a waste of fun. Why would you pay Adam Arkin but not John? I don't know. They show up and Jamie kind of gets them in the car. She's driving them away and they're going to get away until she says, listen, can you just drive him to the hospital? I'm going to stay here. And basically she sends them off, closes the gate behind her. And we do get, to me, the one redeemable thing about this movie is that Jamie Lee finally says, I've got to face the big bad boogeyman. I've got to face my past. I've got to face my fears, because in order to live a normal life moving forward, I have to get out of the traumatized past one that I've been a part of and being in, right? I've been surviving, right? But I haven't lived. That's the story they're telling here, right? This is a woman that survived, that's had a kid, that's had a successful career, that manages, right? Takes things a day at a time, but she hasn't lived life to its fullest extent because she's always afraid that the boogeyman himself can be there in the shadows. And I think that that part of the story is really well done. She faces Michael Myers. There's a big kind of battle between the two. She kind of takes an axe to him and she kicks his ass, and LL Cool J stops her from killing Michael Myers, because what else would we have LL Cool J do? The movie is wrapping up. They're putting Michael in an ambulance. She says, fuck no, I've seen this movie twice before, hops in the ambulance, drives out, and then there's this whole wacky finale where she hits on the brakes, he flies through the windshield, drives him off the road. They have a kind of moment where the two of them touch, and then boom, decapitates him. And from what I understand, the theaters at the time went wild. Like, that was a big mark out moment for people in the movie theaters, where Jamie Lee finally defeats the Shape and everybody blew popcorn and soda and base. I wasn't there, but people apparently went fucking ape shit in the movie theater, and that was a big crowd pleasing ending as we reeled, you know, the credits and the John Carpenter theme, which I thought was a clever way to end it. Really good. I think if it all ended there, if we never got another Halloween movie, that's a fine cherry on top of how you want to end it. Now, the first 2/3 of the movie I don't think were very good, and I think they leave a lot to be desired 20 plus years later now, right? You're looking at almost fucking 30 years later now, which is fucking kind of crazy when you think about it. But yeah, no, that's the world we live in. It's nearly Halloween 30 years later from 20 years later. It's been almost 50 years since the original Halloween. If you had all ended it there, though, totally cool with that. At least you went on a high note at the end, right? And you didn't make Scream money, but you made some money. But to me, man, it's just a mess overall. This is just a plain mess. And of course, if you watch the next Halloween movie, they bring Michael Myers back and they do the whole thing where, oh, he switched places with an ambulance person and that wasn't really him. Blah, blah, blah. Horrible. I mean, that's just horrible. We all know that's a terrible rewrite. And they of course, because money talks, they want to make a sequel, and they did with Halloween Resurrection. I don't know, though. To me, this has always been sort of an overrated movie. I know some people herald it and say it's one of the best. I just don't see that. To me, it's like a clear cut thing that everybody in this movie was just in it to make the money. And like, I understand that, and I understand it's a business, and that is the goal of mostly every fucking major film that comes out. I'm not stupid or naive, but at the same time, that same level of care just doesn't look like it's here, other than Laurie's character. I think as far as a horror movie, this thing fails miserably. I would rather watch Halloween 5 and 6 than this. And I'm not joking when I say that. I know people probably think, oh, they're way worse movies. Yeah, there may be things about them that are worse, but I would take them as a straight up, hey, me and my friends are going to watch a horror film. This is just not it. There's more, it's more like a drama movie than a horror film. The horror in it just leaves a lot to be desired. I don't know. Let's talk about this one, though. I want to hear what you guys have to say in the chat here. Let's see. Grande's Graveyard chat and people saying hi to one another. H2O is pure nostalgia for me. First Halloween VHS that I ever owned, and I wore that son of a bitch out. It's my favorite in the franchise, pure entertainment movie. Okay, hey, I'm very sorry. I just shit all over your fucking pure entertainment and all that stuff. I am sorry. I'm just being honest as always. But yeah, no, there are a lot of people that share that sentiment with you. Like, I know so many people that have told me this is by far the best sequel. That's fine if you feel that way. I don't. Like, I really don't. Like, to me, this is towards the bottom. I will say this movie's the movie's biggest friend is those new three. I mean, those new three, and I would say at least the second Rob Zombie one is definitely worse than this. Like, I would watch this over that. But I don't know. Other than that, I'd really have to think about it because it's not one of my faves. Jamie Lee's Yits wasn't selling like they used to. No, that she didn't find activity yet. Those Yits weren't legits anymore, right? Nobody was going to see these Yits anymore. They had to wait till they sagged a little bit, and then all of a sudden Jamie Lee was winning Oscars and all that. So it eventually those Yits were bouncing again. It just took a little while. I think that a lot of people didn't believe there was going to be another Halloween movie after this movie came out 3 years after Pleasence had died. And yeah, no, that's definitely a possibility. And the thing is, to me, another huge thing that this movie does miss is Donald Pleasence himself. 6 movies. I know people we have to exclude 3 because everybody's fucking insensitive. Okay, we'll exclude 3. The Halloween movies that all preceded this all had one thing in common, is Donald Pleasence. Donald Pleasence and the selling, the ultimate hype / wingman of Michael Myers, evil on 2 legs, the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes, Sam Hain, and all of the ways that he was able to hype up Michael Myers inadvertently just by talking about his fear of him. And that to me is vital to the Michael Myers character. And dare I say, since Halloween 6, right, the last one Donald Pleasence was actually in and worked on, they have all missed Donald since. Donald was the Van Helsing to Michael's Dracula. Like, that's how important and vital that Pleasence as an actor and a performer was to this character, because it's clearly missed here. It doesn't feel like the same threat because Donald's not there. And like, listen, I understand the guy was dead. It's not like you could, okay, hey, Grande, what are you going to do? You're going to bash them because they couldn't use an actor that had just passed away? No, I'm not saying that. But the whole, we'll bring in a voice actor to do, shut the fuck up. You can't get the fucking guy. Don't get a fucking shitty voice imitator to, I watched Michael for 17 years. Fuck you, buddy. The guy sounded more like fucking Tony. Hey, yo, this is what it's about. How you doing? Fuck you. Get the fuck out. Get some gabagool and shove it up your fucking ass. What is up, Graveyard fam? Merds! Tons of cameos in this one. Joseph Gordon-Levitt at the beginning. Yeah, it's right. It really does have quite a bit of cameos in it. Even has a Scream cameo. Scream 2 is being watched on the TV in this one randomly. So what's up, Merds? Hope all's well with you. Another movie that is not really but reunites the original, which is Fierce Creatures, the follow-up to Fish Called Wanda. Okay. Haddonfield police are not the brightest. They are not the brightest. Yeah, okay, Janet Leigh is mentioned. Janet Leigh, of course, does share a scene with Jamie Lee, and they throw the whole line of, it's Halloween, everyone's entitled to one good scare. And she's actually driving the same car from Psycho, which I thought was kind of funny. This movie was dead on arrival. What's funny, Mateo, is that, like, a lot of people seem to really like this movie. And at the time, especially, people were throwing fucking babies in the air. They were celebrating this movie. And it's just like, I respect that. I think in a lot of ways they were sick of the Thorn stuff. I think the Thorn cult was a bad direction and move for this franchise as a whole. Let's be honest. Like, listen, I may like all three of those movies over this one. The fact of the matter is, people, it wasn't drawing, right? Like Halloween 5 did not draw a lot of money. Halloween 6 did not draw a lot of money. So the ideology of, at one point, they wanted to have those movies be a part of the canon, right? They were going to have some student was going to give a class presentation and say, oh, the Halloween murders, and mention Jamie Lloyd and mention Rachel Carruthers and mention all these characters that we watched over the past 3 movies. That was going to be a part of this, and then they wrote it out. They were like, you know what? No, let's just do Halloween 1, Halloween 2, and this is the third one. And I actually think that was a smart idea, because if you try to integrate all that other stuff too, I don't think it ever would have worked. From what I understand, some of the people say they shot that scene. Some of them say they don't. So we'll never know. Obviously, if they did, it does exist somewhere. It's just a matter of where is it. I would love to see that scene just out of curiosity. It would be I'm sure, a big thing for the marks. We got Dr. Howdy 6664. Welcome, Dr. Howdy. Hope all's well with you. Flyer and A Cup Yits. I'm going to use that this week. Oh God, please, at the workplace. At the workplace, use it. This fucking report is flatter than A Cup Yits. Seems to me that's the problem with too many people trying to decide on what mask there should be. I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, it's, how did they get it so wrong? I mean, it looks terrible. Like throughout the entire picture, the mask just looks awful. It's a true mess, man. There's a scene in the movie involving a mother and child where that scene doesn't work either. It's, oh, let's build tension and make Michael Myers this threatening creature, but he's not going to do anything, right? And then they tried it again in that fucking 2018 movie. Oh, the podcasters are now in the bathroom, and he'll kill them this time. And did we do better? No, you did worse, because a bunch of shit. That sequence just doesn't work for me. Like, I think any type of scene where he's going for horror failed miserably. Like, I really don't think Steve Miner got down how to work this character like John Carpenter did. And even, I would say, Rick Rosenthal. Like, Rick Rosenthal was able, the whole movie, you fucking feel that presence in the hospital, right? He may not be in the room, he may not be in the hallway, he may be somewhere where you don't know, but it's like you still can hear the breathing. He's there. It's, I don't know where, but he's there somewhere. And that, to me, is Michael Myers 101. You've got to have that feeling in your film. And this movie doesn't have it for a single second. And that's just a glaring flaw that I have with it. Everything about Michael was so lazy. Multiple people made multiple bad masks for it, even restored. Yeah, they resorted to the Part 6 mask in the beginning, right? The John Carl Buechler mask from the previous film, George Wilbur mask. He brought that out, and they used that for some shots. That may have been the best way to go about it, right? They probably should have just done that mask throughout. But because there were so many reshoots and so many shots done with masks that were attempted and reattempted and redesigned and all this stuff, the final product that you get, you see several different masks throughout this movie. And of course, the worst being a CGI mask before a death scene, which I don't know how that gets past an editor. Like, if I'm an editor, dude, that's never making it into the movie. I'm like, dude, I will throw myself in front of the door before that gets out past me. Like, that's unacceptable if you're an editor. Like, you're fired, my guy. Like, unacceptable. Right? Well, that was one of the working titles, The Revenge of Laurie Strode, but they capped it because The Revenge of Michael Myers is Part 5, so they put the kibosh on that one. Ant-Man525, dude, what's going on with you, man? Happy to see you as always, my friend. Always good to see you, buddy. Wi-Fi keeps acting up. Have to keep coming back. No worries. The Rage Carrie 2 is my favorite of the franchise too, just in case you want to give that film a hard time. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. Not going to give it a hard time. Sup, everybody. Awesome. Welcome, Haddonfield. Halloween H2O is not terrible to me. In fact, I would say it's probably one of my top favorites of the franchise. I definitely think it's a lot better than Halloween Ends. Sorry, not sorry. No, it's better than Halloween Ends. I would agree with that for sure. I would totally agree with that, to be honest with you. But, Halloween H2O, man, I think it's a disappointment. I'd never really liked this movie. For people that do, that's great. The Jamie Lee stuff is very good in it. The rest, It's for the birds, my friend. For the birds. Halloween H2O, just not a big fan. Never really liked it. But let's get to a movie that I am a fan of, and a movie that I will be the first one to tell you that when I heard there was a sequel to the original Brian De Palma Carrie movie, I was like, there's no need for this. There's no reason for this. Why? Just why? Why would we ever do a second Carrie movie? Didn't we say everything we needed to say with the first Carrie, right? Can't we just remake it one day? And they did, and I actually like the Angela Bettis remake. I don't like the Chloe Grace Moretz remake, but the Angela Bettis one I think is good. Patricia Clarkson as the mom. You have some of the bullies in that are great. Emily Duravin and the girl from Ginger Snaps. I can't think of her fucking name. But she's great in that as well. Like I like the cast of the remake of the Carrie 2002, the Angela Bettis Carrie movie is really, really good. But they did it. They did it over 20 years later. This was over 20 years later, right? This was 23 years later. I'm talking about the Rage Carrie 2. Yes, the Rage Carrie 2. Brief plot synopsis. A horrible massacre strikes up after an outcast teenage girl is taunted by a group of high school jocks, all of them unaware of her cutthroat telekinetic powers. Yes, the Rage Carrie 2. Now, really cool thing about this VHS, this is a Canadian blockbuster VHS, and it's red. I love it. How cool is this? I don't know. I just thought this was so cool. I was kind. I did rewind, so no worries. I'm a kind rewinder, if you will. So if you ever rent this from my factory, you can always know that Grande did rewind it. This movie's interesting, though, because I was one of the people that swore it off. There's no way a movie called The Rage Carrie 2 could be any fucking good. There's no way a sequel to Carrie could ever work. And I was dead wrong. I think this is a really good movie. For what it's worth, I think this is a really good movie. Of course, it tells the story of Rachel's character, who's played by Emily Burgle in this movie, and she is this not overly bullied, but she's an outcast. She only has one really close friend who's played by Mina Suvari in the movie, who you may remember Mina Suvari from American Pie, which came out later this year. Of course, you also have the actor that plays Finch in the American Pie movies. He's also in this movie as well. Eddie K. Thomas is in this as a side character, which I think is kind of funny that you have two American Pie actors in a movie that I consider to be a Carrie meets American Pie movie. And of course, these two girls, they're very good friends. And one day, Rachel gets on the bus and her friend is telling her of her first sexual experience, right? She says, listen, I met this guy and we're head over heels. And listen, last night we finally had sex and I'm no longer a virgin. I've been deflowered, right? And that's the whole story that she's telling her. And she's glowing. Mina Suvari is glowing on the bus. She's very happy, very excited. She's on here. She's on cloud nine. They both get to school. Mina Suvari goes to her locker at a point, and we don't see everything that transpires there, but we see a visual of a girl that was glowing in the beginning, right? Glowing on the bus, happy, smiling, happy as can be. And we see her taken away from that. Now she's gloomy. Now she's down. Now she's been taken away from the clouds. And what she does is she goes to the top of the roof of the school and jumps to her death. And that's really the thing that kind of sets in motion the plot for the Rage Carrie 2. And of course, Emily Burgle's character, she's trying to figure out what happened, right? And through figuring out what happened, we learn more and more about her character and that she has telekinesis just like a certain someone did 23 years earlier. Of course, she has telekinetic powers just like Carrie White did. And we do learn throughout the movie as we go on that they shared the same father, the same guy that had, a relationship with the Piper Laurie character, also had relations with this woman's mother in this. So that's how they're both sisters, right? Through all these years difference. And that's why they both have the telekinesis. Okay, a little convenient plot writing there. I give you that one. That's a little bit silly. Ralph White got around. Yeah, Ralph White was a horn dog, if you will, for sure. But as she's trying to figure out what happened, we learn that she went out with this guy from the football team who actually is competing with other people on the football team in order to sleep with as many women as they can in order to score points. And you realize that these football players are playing and having sex with girls in order to win a competition. It's this whole point system where you're not just a person I'm having sex with, you're just 4 points in this competition. And to me, what I like about the Rage Carrie 2, what I think makes it stand out from other bad sequels that were unnecessary like it, is that it touches upon a different type of high school horror. Think about high school. Put yourself back in the hallways. Put yourself back with the books in one arm and maybe a backpack in the other. Think about it. The original Carrie was all about bullying, right? This creepy Carrie, and this girl, plug it up. This girl was tortured and tormented and despised and hated by everybody in this school, and finally gets the night of her life at the prom, and everybody's happy, and everybody's clapping, and she's on cloud nine, right? Just like Mina Suvari, only to have the pig's blood dumped on her, only to have it all go up in literal proverbial flames. That's why Brian De Palma's Carrie is great. It's all a culmination and crescendo to that pig's blood dropping, and then all hell breaks loose. And we could see the horrors of bullying finally go at and play at these terrible, horrible people. Here we have a different type of bullying, right? Using women, objectifying women, using them as a pawn in your proverbial chess game, using them as a checker on the board, using them as objects and not people, right? I don't really like you. I don't really have feelings for you. I don't really love you. But if it'll get me 6 points in this competition and I can get to the top, well, then I'm going to use you. And that's what these horrible guys on the football team are doing. And hence the victim that falls into this is the Mina Suvari character, right? Here's a girl that wanted companionship, that wanted love, and finally got to felt that and felt, oh my goodness, I'm worthy. I'm not weird. I'm experienced and tasted normalcy. I want more of this. I want to be like this. I don't want to be this outcast in the back of the bus that nobody looks at and nobody wants to be friends with. And once she gets the taste of that and it's all taken away from her, she feels in her mind there is nothing left to do but jump. And there's horror in that. There is horror in the facts of high school, in the shit that we experience, right? That's a crazy time in our lives. Hormones are raging. Tempers are high. Everything is just changing. It's constant changing, whether you like it or not. And you got to adapt or ultimately perish. And that's kind of the story that I think the Rage Carrie 2, respectively, is telling so well here. Now, of course, we do have one character returning from the original, Amy Irving. Amy Irving is back in the Rage Carrie 2, and she's playing a high school guidance counselor in this school. And there's a great line where one of the police officers kind of goes up to her and says, listen, are you still trying to save a girl that you saw die 20 years ago? And aiming at, listen, we know that you're still sad about what happened with Carrie and all your friends and all these people that died that night, that prom, basically because of what she did, right? She was trying to stick her head out. She was trying to do the right thing, only to have it all blown up in her face and have those horrible nightmares of Carrie reaching her hand out of the grave, the great ending of Carrie. I liked that, and I thought Amy Irving did a really good job in this movie. I thought it was cool to see her back, and it was kind of interesting to see that all these years later, Amy Irving's looking for redemption. I don't want what happened to Carrie White to happen to Emily Bergel's character, the Rachel character. She doesn't want a repeat of 20 years ago. So her whole character and motivation is stop this from happening. Stop that prom night. Stop that disaster. And she's trying to stop it again. And I liked that. This was interesting. Okay, 20 years later, can you stop it this time? Or is it something that you can never stop? Is the rage something that will, no quote or pun intended, continue to rage on no matter what you do, no matter how you intervene? Will that rage keep coming? Will that flame keep rising? Thought that stuff was really well done. Now, It does divulge into a bit of a love story, right? We have Emily Burgle. She kind of falls in love with Jeremy. I'm sorry, this Jason London, not his twin brother Jason London, who sucks anyway. Either Jeremy, Jason London, who whichever London it is, you both suck. Jeremy London was the guy in Mallrats, though. They're both shitty actors, but she does fall for him. She's getting the normalcy. She's kind of feeling all this love, but of course, all of his other football buddies, they're kind of shooting this down, right? The lead guy's played by Dylan Burno, this evil heelish guy, and Zachary Ty Bryan, and one of them's even Eli Craig, who would go on to direct Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So you have some memorable faces in here as well. But I think another thing they were able to really do well here was to make the bullies evil and sadistic in a way that wasn't too over the top, but it was also in a way that you really wanted to see them get what was coming to them. I think they made really good asshole heel characters in this that just were so devilish and so like sadistic, where you were like, oh my god, I hope they get what's coming to them. And there are all these bad football players, right? And they're all shaving their heads to impress the scouts because they're gonna make it to the NFL, baby. Like that was their whole, I guess, gimmick. We're all shave our heads. Fuck it, we're all skinheads, we're all assholes anyway. I thought that was a good touch because it was like, yeah, that's something assholes in fucking high school would do. They would all fucking shave their heads because they're fucking assholes and they're idiots. I thought that was really cool. That was really spot on, interesting. You have one character who I want to get her name here right. Rachel Blanchard is Monica, this girl with glasses who's just a fucking bitch to the Rachel character. I mean, horribly fucking mean. To the point where I was like, oh my god, dude, I hope she gets the worst death, and she does get one of the worst ones. I love that. I thought that was great. It all kind of crescendos where they're treating her nice. They're oh, you're fitting in fine. They just play this big football game that they win. And of course, what they do is they say, hey, we'll get her at the party and we'll show a sex tape where they were filming her and London having sex together, unbeknownst to London, and try to humiliate her in front of everybody, right? So they're all partying in this big little house and they're playing 13, 13, 13 cats, 13. They're all dancing around, having a good time. They're all taking turns twirling her, spinning her. They're trying to make it like, oh, you're on cloud. Love that. I mean, it was so well set up where you're just going, oh, you dumb fucks. Like, I've seen this movie once before. You guys were all about to eat shit. And they all kind of hold her together and they're laughing as they play the sex tape on the screens. And she's like, stop, this is personal. I love him. What are you doing? Why would you do this? And she starts crying and freaking out. And all of a sudden, the telekinesis starts to come alive, and we have a very fun third act where all of these people at the party get their asses fucking kicked. And I mean, it is, I think, really well done as a sequence, right? We see she has this heart tattoo with a vine around it, the thorn vine. And we see that start to grow throughout her whole body as the rage spreads throughout her, and she's kind of standing there stoically. And the fucking place goes on fire. There are spears flying everywhere. There are people going on fire. There are people getting thrown through glass doors, getting impaled with spears, and Amy Irving ends up being one of them. Her whole character arc, she's trying to get Carrie's mother out of the loony bin. She does it, gets to the door, and gets fucking impaled, which I was like, oh my god, like, you went through all this fucking trouble and just got fucking impaled anyway. Like, why the fuck not? I thought that was always kind of like a wow, like, yeah, proof you can't stop this. You could try once, you could try twice, you'll never stop the rage. The rage rages on. Like, that's the point. And I thought that was kind of clever, although I could see why people don't like it. These horrible people, though, do get what's coming to them. They all have these like spear guns pointed at her, and she kind of walks up, looks at them, and fucking the Rachel bully character, her glasses break inward and the glass goes in her eyes. She's like, oh, she freaks out, shoots the gun of the harpoon, goes right through the fucking guy who was with Mina Suvari. It goes right through his balls, and you see his balls go into the fucking pool. He's like, oh, goes down like a fucking ton of bricks, and then Rachel and the fucking main heel both go into the pool together, and they're like, I don't know. I love that shit. Like, I thought the whole third act of this was really fun and energetic and wild and wacky and just like perfect. It was exactly what it needed to be. It needed to be really intense, right? Because you really take a good time to build these people up as these evil, sadistic, horrible bullies that look at women as objects. And then once you get that payoff and you see them all getting what's coming to them, that perfect, sweet, sweet revenge. I love that. I thought that was always one of the big strengths of this movie. I don't know. I think the Rage Carrie 2 is good. It talks about and covers a lot of really important themes and horrors that come apart with high school, in my opinion. The acting around it is good for the most part. Emily Burgle was great in this. Now, I mean, we could get a little bit into the production of this movie because that's another thing that not enough people really talk about when they talk about the Rage Carrie 2. This was a movie that we initially had a director for that, of course, was ended up replaced. Robert Mandel was the original director of this. He left after about a week and a half, and they were going to scrap the film entirely. They were going to say, hey, listen, we're just going to have everybody go home. Then they reached out to the person that ended up directing the rest of the picture, which was Kat Shea. And they said, listen, Kat Shea, like, we need somebody to come and help direct this movie. We'll shut down production if not. And Kat Shea kind of came on board, and Kat Shea saved the day and ended up directing the rest of the picture and took apart pretty much all of the original director's stuff. So there's nothing, almost next to nothing from that original director that's in this movie. It's pretty much all Kat Shea's movie now. So I think she did a really good job. I think she got it. I think it was smart to go with a woman's direction and point here because, again, it's a movie that's basically touching on the horrors that a female goes through in the high school atmosphere and setting. So I think that was a really smart move to go female there. I think this was a movie that called for it. And I think that, again, while it was sort of barking up the wrong tree in a movie that you never needed a sequel to, I do think this is pretty well done overall. Now, the movie unfortunately bombed. It did not do very well at the box office. It was a box office bomb, and I get you the exact numbers here. The box office numbers were not good. $21 million budget, grossed about $17.75 million worldwide. Was not a financial hit, and also came out just 3 weeks before the Columbine massacre. Now, of course, if this had still been waiting to come out before Columbine, I don't think this movie ever would have saw the light of day for years. I think it would have been literal years before this movie got a theatrical release because it is quite graphic and disturbing as to what happens to a lot of these high school kids. And of course, Columbine was 3 weeks later, and a movie that we're going to discuss next was delayed because of said incident. So that's how big that incident was. I truly think that if this didn't come out 3 weeks prior, if that incident happened and this was set for 3 weeks later, I don't think I think this would have sat on the shelf for years until we would have seen it, if ever, right? This would have been a movie that maybe we never would have saw the light of day of, or maybe eventually would have got a direct-to-DVD release or something like that. I don't know. It is kind of wild to think because, man, at that time, that was a huge, huge tragedy. And man, this movie would have totally been a sufferer of it. Instead, that beat this to the punch. And of course, the Rage Carrie 2, it is heavily forgotten. It is heavily hated. It was hated by critics, hated by fans. It does seem to have a little bit of a cult following, though, and I can see why, because it is competently enough made. It is, most of the acting is really good. The horror is really well done in this movie. The third act is definitely as brutal as it needs to be. Like, to me, it totally does deserve and garner that cult audience for a reason. I like Jennifer's Body. I don't fucking see it. This movie, I totally can see why there is a big, big cult following for it. And the movie has even gotten a 4K. Vinegar Syndrome just did a 4K earlier this year of the Rage Carrie 2. I know there was an out-of-print Shout Factory Blu-ray of this as well. I don't know. I like this movie. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want to call me. I think this movie is pretty solid for the most part. I never really got the overwhelming, this is one of the worst sequels ever. To me, you could do a hell of a lot worse than the Rage Carrie 2. To me, not a terrible legacy sequel. I don't know. Shocking, I know, but not one I dislike. Let's see what you guys have to say. don't know where the heck we were. Where the heck were we? This movie came out the same year as Jawbreaker. Okay. Ralph White cut around. Absolutely. I love how they do the flashbacks from the original. Yes, that is in this movie. They do a lot of flashbacks from the original Carrie, right? They space them throughout the movie. I know that they were iffy on doing that. Like the director really wanted that. And then, of course, they had to get De Palma's blessing. Apparently, Amy Irving even asked for De Palma's blessing at a point with this movie to be a part of this. So that's something I always thought was pretty interesting about it. Like she reached out to him, was like, listen, I won't do this unless you say yes. And I know Amy Irving has buried the movie. Amy Irving said she was ashamed to be a part of it, ashamed to be in it, shame she showed her face, shame she used her name, like everything. Like Amy Irving has buried this movie over the years, which I think is a shame because I don't think it's that bad. I think what happened to Rachel was worse than what happened to Carrie. Both bad, but the game the jocks were playing and the filming, the second. Yeah, I mean, and I think too, what was smart about it was it wasn't just another weirdo that, okay, we're just bullying her because like I think it was smart to change the motive and what was going on. You modernized it, right? This is what kids were doing now when they have video cameras in the fucking school, right? And it's right, nailed on the head. And the reason I call it the American Pie Carrie movie is because if you think about it, the plot of American Pie is basically what these fucking football players are doing. You could do like a universe sequel where American Pie is happening at this fucking school, and the alternate ending is all the American Pie people die at the end of fucking American Pie. Like you could. I mean, they're all trying to, we're all trying to get laid before the prom. That's their competition, right? Imagine the alternate cut where they're all, hey, we did it, man. We did it. What? Wait a minute. Why is this bitch doing telekinesis? Oh, shit. That would be a funny alternate cut because, of course, you do have the Finchler in there. Or like that movie Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. That's a great, I really like that movie. The CWO is the only way to go. Sean, what's up, buddy? For me, the movie like Carrie should just be left alone. No sequels or remakes. Yeah, listen, I'll be the first one to tell you this is no original 1976 Carrie. It's not even in the same ballpark, right? I mean, we're talking about two completely different things. However, if it's going to exist, I think it could be a lot worse than what we got, is how I kind of feel about it. And I agree with you. There shouldn't be a sequel, shouldn't be a remake. But you could say that for anything. But should they ever have really fucking remade Halloween? Probably not, but they fucking did it anyway. Should they have ever fucking remade Dawn of the Dead? Probably not, but they did it anyway. Like it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, if they're going to do it, I hope they don't fuck it up too bad. And to me, this sequel and the 2002 remake are examples of, yeah, they didn't fuck it up too bad. They did a pretty good job to me. I know people that hate both those movies and they'll praise the fucking Chloe Grace Moretz one. Go ahead. Greed Mateo. Okay. Yeah, no, listen, hey, everyone's entitled to their opinion. If you guys, don't like this movie, you're not alone. You're probably in the majority. They also use they're all going to laugh at you. They're all going to laugh at you. Love that. That's never gets old. Great movie. Love the revenge aspect, but it's not really for someone who was bullied. The bullying aspect was too harsh. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, hey, I mean, I can see why you say too harsh. It's completely understandable. I think at the same time, though, that's bullying. Bullying is fucking harsh. It's terrible. It's awful. It can ruin someone's life. And it happens every day. It's happened since the beginning of time. This is not something that's going to ever stop, to me. So in my opinion, the way they depict it and capture the authenticity of bullying, especially in the 1990s and how it was at that time, it just seems like they hit the nail on the head to me. Both movies dealt with bullying, but the original Carrie bullying didn't seem as harsh. Well, again, different type of bullying, right? It was more the poke you bullying, whereas this is more psychological. I'm gonna have somebody say they love you, go out on dates, take pictures, smile for photos, use you for sex, and then the next day at school tell you, oh, hey, I did it for you. You were 4 points. That's all you were. Like that's psychologically that is damaging, and you see the horror in Mina Suvari's eyes where she goes, oh my god, like, well, who was I kidding? Like I thought I was good. I thought I was finally found and seen, and instead I was used, and that there is a lot of horror in that. I avoided this one, didn't watch the 2019 or so, thought it was all right for what it was. Yeah, it is. I think that's a fair estimate of it too. Like, even if you don't like it, I like it. I do think it's a good movie, but an all right for what it is, I think that's totally fair estimate of this movie. Like, yeah, it is good for what it is to me. The mid-morning afternoon of the brunch of the dead. Oh boy, Mark's in the house. I was in high school from 2000 to 2004, so it just hit hard. I'm sure. Listen, yeah, if that's the years you were there, I'm sure it hits super hard. Like, I always say this too when I reviewed this movie this year on the show. Welcome to the Dollhouse. I wasn't a kid in 1995. I wasn't in middle school then, but I could see, like, when you watch that movie, to me, it's like you're back in the hallways no matter when you went. And like, to me, it's like a time capsule of what that is. And I think it could speak to a lot of people, especially if this was around the time you were going to high school. The book bullying was really bad from what I've heard. Movie didn't go far enough. I know there's the documentary Bully, which is really, really sad watch. I don't know. I have a hard time watching any documentaries or anything like that on bullying. And I remember we used to have assemblies of bullying and things like that. It's a true horror. It's nothing to scoff at. Absolutely nothing to scoff at. It's truly one of the all-time big horrors that there is out there. And I don't know. To me, the Rage Carrie 2 is a good movie showing that to me. But that takes us to the year 2000. That takes us to Creed and What If and all their horrible music, which, of course, I'm not a big Creed fan. However, I am a big fan of this next movie. And I've been on here once or twice before to tell you how much I don't like Scream 5 or Scream Dicks, as I called it in the review. But for a long time, this was only a trilogy from 1996 to 2000. This was only a trilogy of movies. And then, of course, they came out with the fourth one and then the fifth one, and the sixth one, so on and so forth, whatever. To me, it should have ended right here, though. To me, this was absolutely the movie that should have ended on. They never should have made another one after this, in my humble opinion. And in my opinion, is the best of the sequels. I like it more than part 2. I like it more than part 4, 5, 6, whatever the fuck. This from the year 2000, I'm talking about it. Scream 3. Yes, Scream 3, and a brief plot synopsis. Sydney is hibernating in the woods. Her whereabouts are unknown to everyone but Dewey. After a number of murders that seem to be related to the Woodsboro case take place on the set of Stab 3, Sid comes to Hollywood to help her friends find out more about her mother's death and put together the final pieces of the Scream mystery. Yes, Scream 3. Now, a lot of people say this is the worst of the Scream movies. The Black Sheep, the worst of the worst. Absolute horrible movie. Never should have been. That's fine if you feel that way. To me, this is the best of the sequels by a fucking mile. I love the first Scream. It's the best of the Scream movies. There's no doubt. Scream 2 always left a little bit to be desired. I never liked that third act with the Debbie Salt, Laurie Metcalf, the bitch from Roseanne, and Timothy Olyphantastic, because he's not Olyphantastic. He fucking sucks. I'm gonna blame the movie, Sid. Like that whole finale is horrible. The movie's not terrible, but like the finale of Scream 2 is fucking so bad and overwritten, and I don't know, it's just terrible. And then a lot of people kind of point to this and say, oh, no, this is the one that's really, really terrible. That's fine if you feel that way. I'm going to go to bat for it. I'm going to defend it. But I know we have to address the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room was this is not written by Kevin Williamson. Kevin Williamson, of course, in 1999 had left to direct a little movie called Teaching Mrs. Tingle, which ended up being a bomb in and of its own right. Stars Katie Holmes. It was not a very good movie in and of itself. However, he couldn't return to be the writer of this. And let's be honest, when you're talking about Scream, one of the biggest, most instrumental reasons as to why it worked and spoke to a generation and spawned and birthed neo-horror as we know it was because of how much he knew, teenagers and how he knew how they spoke and how they interacted and how they vibed and how they, all of that stuff. He was the key to why Scream spoke to so many, right? He got it. He got the formula. He's not back in the writer's chair this time. This time, it was Aaron Kruger, who was an up-and-coming writer in LA at the time, had several different scripts on the back burner, and one of them happened to be Scream 3. And once they knew they couldn't get Williamson back, Aaron Kruger got the job to write this movie. And now I know a lot of people don't like his writing, don't care for his writing. I am amazed at how right he got it. To me, you can't even fucking tell that it's him and not Kevin Williamson. Like, that's how on the money he was in this movie to me as a writer. That's just my opinion. If you don't agree, that's fine. I think the writing here is not the problem whatsoever. I think the writing is quite good. Of course, Wes Craven does return to direct this, which, of course, it's not Scream without Wes, in my opinion. Like, the reason Scream is so well done and well filmed and well told, and the horror sequences in Scream work, are because of Wes Craven. And Wes is just a pro and a guy that, of course, wanted to make his art movie. He made Music of the Heart with Meryl Streep the year prior to this. And then, of course, the compensation was, yes, we want you to finish the Scream movies out for us. Okay, no problem. The movie opens up with Cotton Weary, who's Liev Schreiber, who go on to be in Shameless and all these other things. He gets a call from the Ghostface Killer, who now in this movie has a voice changer who can, sound like anybody, right? 25 years later, we still don't have technology like that, but it's kind of funny that in this movie, in this world, they have that technology. You could sound like anybody over the phone. Kind of teases him over the phone. He's blasting out to the Creed song. There's a lot of Creed in this because it's very dated, of course. And he kind of rushes home, opening murder sequence. He's trying to find out where Sydney is. Liev doesn't tell him, and then we're off to the races, where most of this movie takes place on the set of Stab 3, which is the fictional movie within a movie that they're shooting the Scream movies are, right? They're the Stab movie, the Stab series, if you will. And of course, one by one, the cast are being picked off in mysterious ways, and the killer is looking for Sydney, who has gone into hiding. Sydney, played by Neve Campbell here, front and center. She is gone away into hiding. She's gone under a different name, and she's working as a grief/suicide prevention hotline person, where, oh, you don't have to tell me your name, just tell me what you're feeling, we'll work this out. That's how she's making a living and kind of living off, so she can't be bothered by any trouble with Ghostface or anything like that. I think it was a logical way for her character to feel after the first two movies, right? You have the first movie where she's tormented by her boyfriend and she has sex, gives up her virginity to him, only to find out that, yes, you are a killer, and so is your buddy Matthew Lillard. They're these crazy bastards that are going to try to pin it all on my dad, all that stuff. The second movie, oh, I've gone away to college, and once again, my boyfriend has died because I made a wrong call. And she's this character that's gone through all of this shit, so I could see why logistically and from a story standpoint you'd go into hiding. We've been through a lot of shit with Sydney. Okay, get away from it all. I understand that, and I think that was just a logical way to take her character. Meanwhile, we follow Courtney Botox Cox and her real life husband at the time, who was David Arquette. David Arquette and Courtney Botox Cox were married in real life. I believe they actually had the honeymoon after this movie, right? They got married prior, and then, of course, did the honeymoon phase after this movie wrapped production. And we follow them a lot of this movie, right? Because this was a 6-week shoot. They had Neve Campbell for 20 days. Neve Campbell was still filming Party of Five. Neve Campbell was everywhere at this point, right? Wild Things had come out. Drowning Mona was being filmed around this time. So Neve Campbell was way more busy than she had been in years prior. So of a 6-week shoot, they only had her for 20 days. They didn't even have her for the full 3 weeks. 20 days, day shy of 3 weeks, so she wasn't there even for half of this production. So a lot of this is shot around her, right? We focus a lot more on Dewey. We focus a lot more on Gail and their relationship, how they've kind of grown apart, right? He wants to be this small town Opie Taylor type character, where she's this big loudmouth reporter that wants to go blab her story to the world and write books and be famous. And these two people that you see why their opposites attract, but they can't really come together. So that kind of story is going on here, which I really, really enjoy. David Arquette's also sort of got interested in Parker Posey, who Parker Posey was the independent film queen, right? I mean, I love Parker Posey. Party Girl, Waiting for Guffman, House of O, all these great movies with Parker Posey, The Day Trippers, so many great independent movies in the 1990s. Always been a big fan of Parker Posey. And to me, she almost steals this thing. I think she's so good. As, of course, her character in this, Judy Jurgenstern, a.k.a. Gail Weather. She's playing Gail's character in Stab 3, right? And I don't know, I thought she was really funny in this. Like, I thought she had a great energy and sense of humor to her, and like, I don't know, spunk. Just something about her was so good in this movie. I really enjoyed Parker Posey's uh performance in this. I think she was great. She was a great addition. Now, on the other side of that, a lot of the other side characters, not really great. Jenny McCarthy, basically just there to die and look hot before so. Dion Richmond, not much there as for a character. I like the actor, nothing really going on there. The guy who they have playing Dewey, let me get his name here. I forget his fucking name. The guy's so unmemorable. I don't even remember the guy's fucking name. He's not even here. He's not even listed in the main cast. That's how bad and unmemorable that guy was. So you have a couple of the other people that are just not really interesting. But you do have, of course, Patrick Dempsey. McDreamy himself was hired the day before they started shooting to be the main cop character. So I like him in the movie. He has a kind of romance with Sydney as the thing goes on. And we watch as, obviously the classic Scream formula, right? These people are getting called on the phone. They're getting tricked into being murdered and all this stuff. And then about halfway through the movie, Sydney kind of calls them after her location is found, and she shows up and says, listen, I'd rather be with friends than be in the woods by myself. Like, I'm here. Let's work together and let's figure this out. And I like the mystery they set up. They had set up this very interesting mystery where after each murder, the killer is leaving a picture of Sydney's mother, who's been dead all these years from the first movie, Maureen. She's leaving all these headshots of the mom, and you're trying to figure out, why are they doing that? What's going on? Are we dealing with multiple killers again? Like, what exactly is happening here? And I thought the setting was good, right? The Hollywood Hills on a movie set. It's a replica of Scream 1, right? The whole Woodsboro house and the scenes from the original movie in the third act. I loved that stuff. I thought that stuff was really good. Also, the horror in this movie, I think, is pretty well done by Wes Craven. I love some of the sequences where Sydney's having a bad dream and her dead mother's kind of coming through the fence, and Sydney kind of walking towards her, almost like the Emperor or something. I love that stuff. Is still creepy, I think, all these years later. I like those sequences of horror. The death sequences I thought were pretty well done. You have the fun one in the house where they're printing pages of the script. The killer's rewriting the script. Oh my God, who's going to be the one to die? All but one of you will be spared. Which one? Which one? They're all freaking out. And then the one who smells the gas. And then the guy lights a match in a house where obviously the gas is turned on. Boom, the house explodes. Kind of fun. I mean, you do have some interesting red herrings. You have Emily Mortimer's character in this, who is playing the Neve Campbell role in the movie. She is like an ultimate red herring in it. And there's to the point where some people believe that she actually was one of the other killers and that they just wrote it out. I don't agree with any of that. I know it was initially the script, but like, I think people also reach for shit too. I don't know. I always thought that was kind of a silly, like, who the fuck cares? You have that aspect of the movie. She's kind of a big red herring. Sydney at one point revisits the replica of her home set, and Ghostface chases her. That whole sequence really works. And then it kind of all crescendos and culminates to a big fun third act in a mansion. Where all the characters are kind of having this fun party. It's very Hollywood themed, right? They have a Hollywood room, they have a Hollywood basement, all these coffins and mummy tombs and things like that. It's very movie friendly. It's a very big celebration of movies is Scream 3. It feels like it's very like tongue in cheek and happy to be a movie, right? I like that aspect of it. We get a really fun third act where Sydney has to kind of confront Ghostface, and there's this whole crazy battle between Dewey and Courtney Botox Cox, and they're fighting off Ghostface and stuff. At one point, Parker Posey takes off through this secret entrance, and she thinks she's good, and then only to have Ghostface be right at the other end of it, chasing her up the stairs. I love that. And Dewey's banging on the glass, and he just starts shooting the path. I love that. I thought all that stuff was really good and tension filled. I like that. But we get to the unveil, which I know a lot of people don't like. And I understand why. I think some of the way it's written really hurts it. And I can understand that, especially from someone who really does enjoy the original as much as I do. But I can go to bat for it in a lot of ways, more than one. Now, okay, spoiler alert, the third act. Sydney finally gets to the killer's secret screening room. And of course, the killer is there. He's speaking to her through the voice changer. And she's like, "Who the fuck are you already?" He unmasks, and it's Scott Foley's character who plays the director of the Stab 3 movie. And he goes on this big monologue where he says, "Listen, I'm your brother. Your mother, was having sex in Hollywood like it was nobody's business, and I was an unwanted child. And years and years after trying to track her down, I finally did. And she slammed the door in my face." And he goes on and on about how this is, made him feel terrible about himself, and how he vowed to, seek his revenge on her. And that stuff I really think is well done and well written because, listen, the horrors of Hollywood is something that I think is very interesting in how it was discussed here, right? It's not just used as a setting, it's used as a theme of horror. The casting couch has been around since the beginning of time. And guess what? Even with Bob and Harvey out of the picture, which what's crazy is they produced this movie, so it's almost as meta gets, right? You're commenting on the casting couch in Hollywood. Meanwhile, the producers of this movie literally were the ones doing it. We're commenting on the horrors of this because this is something that has been going on since the beginning of time. And spoiler alert, it probably still is and probably forever will be. And there is horror of that. There really is. Now, of course, they tell a story that Maureen Prescott, Sydney's mom, she was trying to make it as an actress in Hollywood. She did all these terrible low budget pictures. And then, of course, every Sunday they would throw these big parties where these directors could choose whatever women they wanted to have sex with. And then, of course, they started all want to have sex with her and things like that. And that's what they ended up doing. They started assaulting her and things like that. And she felt that she lost her dignity. So she got out of the business and wanted to write that life away, right? This was a long lost life that I don't want to remember anymore. And then, of course, once my son that I never knew existed comes knocking on my door, no wonder I fucking closed the door on his face because I don't want to be a part of that life. That life is dead. Rena Reynolds, the stage name she used, that woman's dead. I'm Maureen Prescott now. I've moved on. I have a daughter that I do want to take in and do raise as my own. And I see the villain's point. He's like, motherfucker, why can't I have what you have? Why couldn't I have been accepted with open arms? Why the fuck am I chopped liver because she got fucked 8 ways from Sunday one time? Meanwhile, you're Sydney, the precious Sydney, the star. All that stuff is great. And I think Scott Foley, the actor, delivers the monologue perfectly. It feels very Williamson. There's one major problem with his spiel. It's that he gives credit to himself for turning Stu Macher and Billy Loomis evil in the first one, right? He says, "Oh, I showed your boyfriend my film. He didn't like it very much, and they decided to take matters into their own hands." He gives you the idea that he's been the mastermind for all time. That's horrible. Like, that never should be in the movie. If you could edit that one line out, I think it would help this movie tremendously because I don't think people wanted to hear that the killers that to this day, right, 30 plus years later, to this day, they still fucking herald those two guys, right? They herald Skeet Ulrich and Matthew Lillard. People wait hours at conventions to meet these motherfuckers online. To hear that, oh, they were just fucking pawns working for you, it's very big slap in the face, and it's a very big don't fuck with the original moment, but they do it anyway. And I get what they were trying to do. They were trying to make Big Bad Villain of the Week mean even more. I get it, but to me, that's bad writing. That's one point where I see, yes, that's a flaw, kink in the armor, where all you needed was that personal connection. Like, I'm not loved the way you were. I'm going to take your life because I wasn't given the opportunity to live the luxury that you have. I think that's all you need to say. Like, that's all that needed to be there psychologically, from that standpoint, to me. And then they fight. There's a really, really good fight where, she thinks she's got him. She picks up a knife and she goes, "Lose something?" And he turns around. He goes, "Found something," and shoots her. I was like, oh, shit. Like, I love that. Meanwhile, fucking Botox cocked with the shitty bangs, shitty bang bangs, comes through the door with David Arquette, and they're trying to bang down the door. They kind of came in and they just fucking killed. I don't know. I definitely like this third act. And then, of course, she finally does overcome him because she has the bulletproof vest, and you shot me. And they kind of had this moment where they embrace, they kind of grab hands. And it's like, for a second, yeah, you tried to kill me, you tried to make my life hell, but there's a second where they embrace and look at each other, and there's almost a respect because there's the sibling aspect of we think alike here. I liked that too. I thought that was fucking pretty good, man. I don't know. I liked that as well. And then, of course, we wrap it up on a little bow. And to me, the best scene in this whole movie is the finale, the very last thing we see. We're back on the farm with Sydney. She's away, but Dewey and Gail are there. They're going to get married. He proposes to her. And we see that Patrick Dempsey, who's had conversations with Sydney throughout the movie, right? What's your favorite scary movie, detective? My life. I love that. I love that line. They're starting up a movie, and she walks in through the back door and closes it. And then, of course, they're like, oh, hey, come on, we're watching a movie. And you hear the wind blow the door open. And he kind of just looks. Or Sydney looks and kind of watches, and she looks back and then just goes and just watches the movie. She doesn't go to close the door. This is, to me, saying everything that you have to say about a character's arc without saying a single word. At the beginning of the movie, she was locking the door behind her. She was typing in the security code. She was running away from the fear, right? She's running away from the fight. Whereas now she's confronted it. Now she's met this man named Fear, and it was so close to home that it was her own flesh and blood. It was her own brother. And listen, the world's going to have problems. The world's going to have fears and scares that are going to come my way no matter where I run to. But I've got my friends on the couch. They love me. I've got another guy on the couch that I have a romantic interest in. And the door may blow open, whatever may come in, but I'm not running from the fight anymore. It's just a matter of I'm not afraid any longer. And if what comes, I've got my friends to back me. It's a really nice storybook ending to the Sidney Prescott character. We've watched her go through hell. We've watched her live it. Now she's at peace with it. She can live her life now. And to me, you never needed to say anything else about Scream. That was the perfect storybook ending. Whether you liked the movie, whether you hated the movie, I would like to think we could all say this was where it should have ended. Just a perfect storybook ending. That's it. Sydney's going to live her life happily, and what que sera, sera. What will be, will be. That to me is how I see it. But I get why people don't like it. I know there's some bad humor, jokes in it. There were Jane Silent Bob. I think it's funny, but people don't like it. The Carrie Fisher thing, Roger Corman, there's a lot of things in it that people don't like, and I respect that. I just personally do get enjoyment out of this movie. I think it is a lot smarter than people give it credit for, and I think it's a very underrated Scream sequel. So Scream 3, I really like it, but what do you guys think? I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let's see. Think we were. How dare you? Creed is great. I'm rusted and what if? Oh God, Creed is fucking terrible, man. With arms wide open under the sun. Oh God, horrible. But if you know, it's funny. You don't believe me? You can fucking look right here. Look at that Creed music video. If you watch to the end of this, you could watch the Creed music video at the end. That's the big payoff of Scream 3. Jonathan Schwartz, 64, love that cover art. I do too. I'm always about the red and black attack, if you will. My sacrifice with Creed slaps, especially when Triple H returned in the 2002 Royal Rumble from his quad injury. From one Triple H to another, Horrorhead Heather to Hunter Hearst Helmsley. Scream 3 feels like a detective story. Yeah, it is. It's a nice little mystery, I think. Jack Doobie's in the house. Is that the one where the script leaked and they had to change everything? So there's a lot of behind the scenes shit, like so much so that it's kind of crazy to get into. Now, bear with me. I'm sorry, guys. I got to blow my nose. My nose is so runny down here. I'm so sorry about that. This is the first time ever a nose blowed on the graveyard, but I'm just like dying of congestion here. It's amazing how you have these former. Yeah, it's true. It's kind of crazy the cast in this movie. I've never made any secret that I don't like any of the Scream movies other than the original, but this is one of the ones that made sense. Yeah, okay, no problem. But get back to Jack Doobie. What Jack Doobie said. Now they did have to change some things. Columbine happened, of course, in April of 1999. And the initial idea, the initial plan that Williamson pitched was Matthew Lillard's character was going to come back from the dead and be training a class of kids to be ghost faces. And that was the big idea of how the killer and the reveal and all that stuff was going to happen. Of course, because of Columbine, they had to push back the filming dates, and then Williamson goes on to do Teaching Mrs. Tingle and all these other things, and he couldn't write the movie, and in steps Aaron Kruger, and the whole thing got changed. Now, as far as if this was the one that got leaked, I believe you're referring to Scream 2. Scream 2 was the one that got leaked because they changed it from Mickey and her best friend being the killers to Mickey and the bitch from Roseanne being one of the killers. That was the ideology there. Now, I have heard stories where Emily Mortimer was going to be the second killer in this, and they wrote that away because it did leak. I don't know if that's true. I can't confirm that, but apparently that was in the script for the longest time. But they tried to keep the script as top secret as possible because of what happened with Scream 2. Ghostface using the Kermit. Yeah, basically what he's doing, right? Have you ever watched the show Master of the Universe? That was Courtney Cox's earliest roles. Was it Botox Cox's earliest roles? How does it fit into the critically acclaimed 13% Rotten Tomatoes Five Nights at Freddy's? Here we go again. Well, I'm sure it's better than that. Great, I haven't seen that. Love Machine. Mark's in the house. Sup El Loco Grande. What's up, buddy? Hello to my favorite fellow Graveyardians. Always good to see you in the house, buddy. You're talking about Scream 3. I think we already discussed this, you and I, but Scream 3 is my favorite of the franchise. It's the most original of the series, and it's very underrated. Well, hey, I appreciate you saying that because of the sequels, it's my favorite for sure. I definitely think it's a good movie, and I'm glad I'm not alone here. Movie had a lot of gaslighting. Okay, that was a good jump scare with Maureen Prescott the window. Yeah, that stuff worked. The horror really worked here. Like, Wes fucking directed this really well. Scream 3 was a mess. Lord Freeze in the house. Welcome, Lord Freeze. Nothing kills. It feels like Scooby-Doo. The actors seem like they're not talking seriously enough, especially that Posey bitch hamming it up to the moon. See, I love Parker Posey in this. I gotta say, I think she's so fun in this. But yeah, that's Parker Posey. Like, she always fucking hams it up to the moon. I think that's why I like her so much. The best part about Scream 3 is the killer soundtrack. Creed. Oh, what if? If you ever watched the classic John Mellencamp dancing in the dark music video, what the fuck? Hey, Lord Freeze. Bruce Springsteen, not John Mellencamp. Oh, boy. Scream 3 is still Citizen Kane compared to the last two. Oh, it's, to me, like, if you compare it to those fucking movies, it's not even, like, it's literally, I agree, it would be Citizen Kane. It's fucking Orson Welles cinema quality. 3 is so fun. Yeah, I agree. I find it a blast too. Like, I always have a good time with Scream 3, man. Like, I don't get it's always so fucking hated. I don't really get why. Is it because of that one line? Because to me, that's the one line where I'm like, okay, I could see if that pissed the marks off, because that even pissed me off. So I get that. But, like, other than that one line, I really don't have a problem with the movie. Scream 6 had some amazing fragments throughout it. It was just a mess as an overall movie. The casting is definitely part of the problem, like you said. Who likes any new character? Oh, dude, I'll take Parker Posey hamming it up over fucking the Core 4. We're the Core 4 guys. Hey, we're the Core 4. Mindy. Oh, I'm a bitch and I know everything about everything. Oh, so-and-so's an Argento fan. Like, that fucking lady... Holy shit. And Melissa Barrera with the fucking eyeballs running around the yard. I'm the daughter of Billy Loomis, and I know better than you, and I'm a fucking bitch. Like, fuck you. And Jenna Ortega, who looks like she's 20 years younger than everybody because she fucking is. Oh, hey, she's in her 30s like the rest of us. No, she fucking isn't, man. Get the fuck out of here. That 5 and that 6, man, to me, are just to destroy everything that this did. Like, why did you ever have to come back? Like, it just didn't make any sense to ever make another one. no sane person likes those pieces of trash. Well, we could all agree on that. I mean, you call me crazy for liking Scream 3, but I mean, I think you're actually like certifiable if you like Scream 5 or 6. I mean, I do, LOL, still teach their own. Not for everyone has to like them. Otherwise, I do think some people give them too much flack. Well, I'd probably be one of those people. I like the brother angle. I do too. I think it was like I don't mind where it went. I thought that was a good direction to take it because all right, what were you gonna do? Like okay, you made it personal with the first movie, right? Your slut mother was fucking my father, right? That was why Billy Loomis did it. And then to me, what Wes did inadvertently, made Matthew Lillard the more interesting of the two because he did it for fun. He didn't know that Billy Loomis had a motive. He just did it for fun. That's why I hate this. Oh, I showed your film to your other buddies. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Matthew Lillard wasn't in it. Matthew Lillard didn't know what was going on. That's what made him great. He just was having peer pressure. And you ever the phone, Dick? Like that's what made him great. But no, that here, I don't know. That line is horrible. Patrick Dempsey, a.k.a. McDreamy from Grey's Anatomy, put some respect on his name, sir. Okay, no problem, McDreamy. We call him McDreamy if you want to. He does a good job. He's not bad in this movie. Compared to what came after this movie, it's pure gold. You're comparing, really, I mean, like, to me, what is a well-thought-out, smart sequel with a good character arc to two movies that truly are fucking pap and are the worst of the worst when it comes to why Hollywood is in shambles now and what is wrong with the scene. Because I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to say names. But there are a lot of people on YouTube that probably are far more successful than me. So take that with the grain of salt here. That all they do and discuss is Scream. That's all their personalities are Scream. That's all they're talking about is who could be. They're analyzing microseconds of Scream 7's trailer because they cannot wait to ejaculate on opening night when a new popcorn ghost face bucket pops and they can go in their cloaks and their fucking ghost face masks and their fake fucking rubber knives. They're going to shove up their fucking asses. They can go in there and they can have a fucking time and then they can go home and bitch about it and then complain and then fucking say, actually, you know what? Upon a reevaluation, this is the greatest Scream movie. That's what you've created with these other two movies. Like that's where you've gotten Scream to now. For a long time, this was fine as a trilogy. Why did we fucking need more? Why? The fourth one didn't even draw money. It didn't even draw. Oh, hey, Paranormal Activity is really popular. Let's do Scream again. Oh, it didn't make any money? All right, fuck it. Sorry, we'll not do it anymore. Then they waited another decade. Okay, we'll fucking just put it out in January because we're fucking pussies and we know we're not going to compete with anything else. They'll see it then. Yeah, great. Yeah, great. Bravo, you fucking pussy-ass bitches. Fuck you. You fucking soft bastards. I'd out 4 over 3, but not by a lot. 4 does a lot of silly shit like the geek saying he's gay, so the serial killer won't kill him. Yeah, when she leaves the door ajar and it cuts to black, that's absolute cinema. I agree. To me, that's like, don't make any more Scream movies. As soon as that just end. Like that's beautiful. That's a really, really. It says so much about. Yeah, it does. It's. I'm done running away. Like that. I'm good now. Like I'm moving on. I respect that. I think that was a good way to end it. Like you said, to each their own. I personally think they deserve the flack, but then again, a lot of people hate part 3, and I think it's great. Yeah, no, listen. We all have our own taste, opinions, whether they be unpopular or not. Here, you're talking to a guy that just said the Rage Carrie 2 was a good movie. So, call me whatever you want to call me. With that being said, like I think Scream 3 is a fucking good sequel. I would totally say this is a good time. Like I think it's a good movie. But again, there's going to be a lot of people that don't agree. That's fine. We're here to talk this out. It's not. See, that's the thing with Grande's. I'm tolerable of your opinions. Like talk to me. Tell me why you feel the way you feel. Don't be afraid. Because in these other fucking places where as mentioned before, where Scream's your whole personality and you're just waiting for the next popcorn bucket, you can't do that. You can't. Oh, this is the black sheep. That's because the rest of us say it. That's what it is. They deal in a world of absolutes where it shouldn't be that way. We should be able to fucking think and talk. Mark wasn't pissed off. I'm indifferent. Okay. J to the G, D to the A. Donnie Hifly is Donovan Alba in the house. Welcome, buddy. People saying hi. Oh, yes, Scream 3 is overhated. I'm also a fan of it. It may have been its fair share of flaws, but even then, much like with the other movies, I still find enjoyment out of it. Okay. Scream is one of those franchises that somewhat stays consistent with installment despite the flaws we get in some of the sequels. Oh no, this not, but that's what they are, Heather. That's what they're, the marks in the semicircle. It's all they fucking do. Like, I enjoy the Scream movies, but that shouldn't be everything you're about. Like Dawn of the Dead's my favorite movie. That's not everything I'm about. I don't come on here every fucking week and talk about the same movie. Like that to me, it's like I think some of these people actually have talent and are really good and can engage an audience on here, but instead they just fucking shoot for the calmest lowest denominator of fucking dumbass fan that doesn't have to think and will stick to the mainstream waters because they know that, hey, I'm gonna get their fucking money. That's what they fucking do. I'm going way too fucking far here, but that's the truth. I hear you personally like all the Scream movies. There are a lot of things I hate about 5 and 6, but I still get a lot of enjoyment out of them. Okay, hey, you know what? Unanimous Scream fan. That totally, they exist as well, and that's totally fine way to feel about it. To me, I stick 1, 2, and 3, and I'm fine with that. 4, okay, if you want to throw 4 in there, all right, but stop throwing shit in after 4. Don't you fucking throw 5 and 6 in my fucking basket here because they're not welcome in this house. And probably Scream 7, 8, 9, 10, however many they make, depending on how 7 does. So it is what it is. But man, this was a lot of fun here tonight on Grande's Graveyard. I always like doing these neo horror specials. I would say from best to worst, we go in back order. I would say Scream 3 is the best, then the Rage Carrie 2, and then this fucking abortion movie. I don't know, H2O. I do not like Halloween H2O at all. This is a terrible fucking film. But this was a lot of fun. I really did have a good time. Brief promo for next week. Next week, it'll be Grande's Graveyard reviewing the Silent Night, Deadly Night franchise. So I'm very excited about that. I'm not going to do a show on Christmas night. I'm thinking maybe Christmas Eve would do it. My birthday is on the 23rd, but I'm going out to dinner with friends. So I don't think the 23rd is going to happen. We might do the show on Wednesday. So I'll keep you guys posted on what day exactly because unfortunately I had to miss this past week. So I am sorry about that. But we will still do the Silent Deadly show. I won't take the week of Christmas off. I'll do the show. I'll let you know what day. I'm just not 100% sure. Right now I'm thinking maybe Christmas Eve would be funny to do it. Out of topic question, did you watch it? Welcome to Derry. I did not. The guy below you, Mark, did. MMCMA. Garbage Day. He watched it and was telling me all about it. I didn't watch it. I don't like Bill Skarsgård whatsoever. I'm just not a fan, to be honest. It's hard to support anything he does. Andy Muschietti, aka Andy Muschietti, I don't like him either. I don't think he's a good filmmaker. I'd never like his direction, and his overusage of CGI is fucking horrible. I don't know. I just am not with that guy's direct. And like I heard that Mark was telling me the military's after Pennywise, and then he told me some things that happened in it. I didn't watch it. If you did, please let me know how you felt, though, because I would totally like to hear your thoughts if you thought it was worth anything, because I didn't. I didn't even think anything of it to watch it. This was great. Next week will be awesome. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate that. I think Bill Skarsgård and David Howell Thornton should fight to the death. I hope David Howell Thornton kicks his fucking ass. He is watching through my outrage text, but I liked it and was a bit of a dull scene-wise. Okay, there you go. So, yeah, Mark is fun. Mark is always fun. He'll text me. He'll be like, this is fucking great. I can't wait for next week. And then it'll be something else. I like Mama, but those new It movies were fucking garbage. Yes, they were. They were fucking garbage to me. I don't know. That director and me just don't get along. And neither I don't get along with Bill Skarsgård either. I love Nosferatu, but if there's one negative in Nosferatu, unfortunately, it's fucking Bill Skarsgård's ass. But everybody, if you're catching the replay, comment down below. Let me know what you think, of course, of Halloween H2O, The Rage Carrie 2, and or Scream 3 from the year 2000. Everybody, I had a great time. Have a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and we will catch you next time only on the Graveyard. Too sweet peace. Good night, everybody, from the Neo Horror Special number 4. Good night, guys.